The relationship between Modi and Netanyahu can be summed up in one phone call. On the morning of October 7, 2023, Benjamin Netanyahu's first call of solidarity came not from Washington or London, but from New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the first to reach him. That call, later described by Israeli Agricultural Minister Avi Dichter as a mark of true friendship, set the tone. Modi wasted no time releasing a statement, condemning the Hamas attacks as terrorism and declaring that India stands in solidarity with Israel at this difficult time. So 20 days later, India actually abstained on a UN resolution calling for a humanitarian truce in Gaza. The abstention, coupled with Modi's immediate and unconditional support, marked a decisive break from India's anti-colonial roots. A country that once presented itself as pro-Palestine and later was cautiously neutral, was now declaring unwavering support for Israel. The rise of Hindu nationalism at home, unflinching solidarity with Israel abroad, and that same weaponization of the war on terror from Gaza to Kashmir. For Modi, this was more than protocol, it was theatre. A declaration that India and Israel were not just strategic partners, but bound by a shared worldview. In Netanyahu, Modi saw someone like himself, populist leader heading an ethno-religious state, whose military power he admired. Now that call on October 7 really captured Modi's decade in power. Let's take a look at India's most pro-Israel leader. By 2014, India was restless. A decade of Congress party rule had left the public disillusioned. The economy was slowing down, corruption scandals dominated headlines, and the ruling elite seemed out of touch with ordinary Indians. For a generation of young voters, development, military strength, and national pride became more compelling than older ideological debates like secularism. Enter Modi. He was the common man's hero, the son of a chaiwala who would come and reverse decades of disappointment, promising economic transformation and championing the BJP slogan, India First. Backed by the right-wing BJP, his campaign fused economic ambition with the politics of Hindutva, and this was the belief in restoring India as a culturally and demographically Hindu nation. So how did he rise to power? Born in 1950 in Gujarat to a poor lower caste family, Modi's humble beginnings became his political persona. It portrayed him as an outsider to India's elite and helped the BJP reach voters from poorer and lower caste backgrounds who had long shunned the party. As a child, he joined the RSS, the far-right paramilitary organization dedicated to building a Hindu nation. The RSS shaped his worldview and remains the backbone of Modi's politics. By 1987, Modi had joined the BJP, and by 2001, he became Gujarat's chief minister, the first RSS missionary to reach such office. A year later, one of the most defining moments of his political career occurred. In 2002, 59 Hindu pilgrims were killed after a train was set alight in Gujarat. Muslims were blamed. What followed was one of India's worst pogroms. The following day, a coordinated attack by right-wing Hindu groups began on Muslim neighborhoods. Hundreds of Muslims were tortured, killed, burnt alive, and gang-raped, all while the police were accused of standing by. 2,000 people were killed. Most of them were Muslim. So during this time, Modi was accused of provoking violence and allegedly told police officials that the Muslim community needed to be taught a lesson.
Not only enough, but excellent work they have done.
Excellent work.
Excellent work they have done. Within 72 hours, we were able to control such a violence.
More than 500 people dead, most of them innocent civilians, and you're calling this excellent work?
I'm not happy what happened, but what we have done, I'm happy.
Now it was this complicity that earned him the title of Butcher of Gujarat and led him to being banned from the US for nearly a decade.
हम तो इतना बुरी हाल उसने किया, जिंदगी की मेहनत की कमी बर्बाद कर दी, लुटा दिया, बर्बाद कर दिया, जला दिया, खाने का एक घर में बर्तन तक नहीं वो हाल हमारा किया, और इतने हमारे लोग मर गए, और बच्चे जो औरत विधवा बन गई, जो बच्चे यतीम हो गए तो वो लाके दोगे.
But instead of ruining Modi's political career, the riots propelled him as a populist leader and boosted his electoral chances.
We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go unpunished.
Among supporters, he became a symbol of Hindu pride. That narrative helped secure his re-election and cemented his place as the BJP's rising star. As chief minister, Modi built his reputation on the so-called Gujarat model. Now, this was a vision of fast-paced economic growth and business-friendly governance in the western Gujarat state, making it open for business to the rest of the world. And whilst running for top job in 2014, Modi campaigned to take the Gujarat model nationwide, promising development, jobs, and an India First policy. He rode the wave of rising Hindu nationalist sentiment right into a landslide victory for the BJP. Congress party rule was over and a new political era had begun. Once in power, Modi's domestic vision of blending Hindu nationalism with economic development extended into foreign policy, and nowhere was this more evident than in his embrace of Israel. In September 2014, just months after his election, Modi met Benjamin Netanyahu on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Now, it's important to note that at the time, Israel was under international scrutiny after Operation Protective Edge. This was an attack on Gaza that had killed 2,251 Palestinians. And yet this first meeting between an Indian Prime Minister and an Israeli leader in over a decade took place. This was a clear signal of a foreign policy break. For decades, India's diplomacy was shaped by Nehru's non-alignment movement, solidarity with Palestine, ties with the Arab world, and covert dealings with Israel. Even after formal ties were established in 1992, every Indian government maintained a balancing act. Defense cooperation with Israel, but public support for Palestine. And Modi shifted that balance. Modi admired Israel's military innovation, counter-terrorism strategy, and nationalism, a model of ethno-religious strength that Hindutva ideologues had long praised.
Prime Minister, I have a reputation of being impatient in getting results. If I may let out an open secret, I know that so are you.
And India was already one of Israel's biggest weapons customers, with billions of dollars worth of deals contracted discreetly during the previous Congress-led government. And under Modi, this arms trade deepened. In 2017, India publicly cleared a $2 billion missile project with Israel, the largest defense contract in the history of the partnership. By the time Modi visited Israel in July the same year, India was Israel's biggest arms market, worth about $1 billion per year. His trip to Israel, the first by an Indian Prime Minister, noticeably skipped Ramallah. Modi was no longer a cautious friend of both sides. The images of Modi hugging Netanyahu on the tarmac and walking barefoot along Haifa's beach signaled a new phase. India was no longer shy about standing shoulder to shoulder with Israel.
We also face common challenges, and the first of it is to defeat the forces of terror that rampage through the world and threaten both our countries. So we must stand together in this battle, much as we work together to perfect the future.
Modi's visit to Israel came as Hindu nationalism was surging at home, a movement that had long admired Israel's model of ethno-national strength. This dates back to Hindutva's founder, Vinayaka Damodar Savarkar, who had hailed a Jewish state in Palestine as a necessary defense against Islamic aggression. Since Modi came into power in 2014, a surge of Hindu nationalism and disinformation campaigns had fueled anti-Muslim sentiment in India, making life for India's 200 million Muslims increasingly dangerous. Hindutva's ideology pushed through educational institutions, and campaigns run by the RSS targeted young people. This restricted religious freedoms, including cases of hijabs being banned in schools. Vigilante lynchings in the name of cow protection spread fear across the country. Farmers, butchers, and families traveling with beef, considered sacred in Hinduism, were pulled from buses or stopped in markets and beaten to death by mobs. Modi's government pushed the love jihad narrative. Now, this was built on the conspiracy theory that Muslim men seduce Hindu women to convert them, leading to the criminalization of interfaith couples, arrest of Muslim men, and in some cases, torture and death. Muslim places of worship also came under direct attack. In BJP-ruled states, authorities have used bulldozers to demolish mosques and Muslim homes, often in the name of illegal construction. In Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, demolitions followed communal clashes with Muslims disproportionately targeted. This climate of everyday violence and state-sanctioned discrimination culminated in January 2024, when Modi inaugurated the Ram Temple in Ayodhya ahead of his re-election campaign. The temple was built on the ruins of the Babri Mosque, more than 30 years after Hindu nationalist mobs tore down the 16th century mosque. The demolition in 1992 triggered riots which killed more than 2,000 people, mainly Muslims. The inauguration was more than a religious ceremony. It was Modi's clearest stamp of muscular Hindu nationalism, a symbolic break from India's secular past. In 2019, Modi revoked Article 370, which gave semi-autonomy to India-administered Jammu and Kashmir. The decision merged its 8 million Muslim-majority inhabitants with India, placed the region under military lockdown, cut communications, and imposed curfews. The Indian government deployed tens of thousands of additional troops to Jammu and Kashmir, raising the total to around 750,000 and reinforcing its status as the world's most militarized region. The decision was hailed by Hindu nationalists, but was met with anger in Muslim-majority Kashmir, where a decade-long call for self-determination had been met by repression and denial by the Indian state. Human rights activists have argued that India's actions in Kashmir amount to a form of settler colonialism straight from Israel's playbook. Parallels with Israel are difficult to miss. Like Israel's annexation of Palestinian land, India's move was framed as a legal act of sovereignty while enforced through military occupation. Kashmir became not just a territory under siege, but a testing ground for Israeli-style methods of control, mass surveillance, smart borders, biometric monitoring, and demographic engineering. For this reason, India increasingly looked to Israel for the tools to achieve these goals. Crowd control weapons like non-lethal pellet guns that have caused blindness are used in Kashmir and mirror the kinds of technologies deployed by Israel in the West Bank and Gaza. Today, as Israel's genocide in Gaza has obliterated the enclave and received worldwide condemnation, Modi's support for Israel has only further cemented. India's companies, including Adani Albert Advanced Systems India, Premier Explosives, and the state-owned Munitions India, have been directly involved in supplying drones and ammunition to Israel as it carried out its genocidal war on Gaza. So in April 2024, the Modi government abstained from a UN resolution that called for a ceasefire and an arms embargo on Israel, a move widely read as an effort to protect these defense contracts. The cooperation extends into battlefield technology. In Gaza, Israeli forces have deployed an AI-powered weapon system co-developed with an Indian defense firm, capable of converting assault rifles and machine guns into automated killing devices. And Israel has given India special treatment in return, while holding back more than $1.5 billion in arms exports to other countries since October 7. It has ensured that deliveries to New Delhi have continued without disruption. Modi and Netanyahu saw themselves as nationalist leaders of ancient civilizations under siege, Israel surrounded by Arabs, and India marked by centuries of Muslim rule. The narrative of a global fight against Islamic fundamentalism became both shared rhetoric and a political weapon in both Palestine and Kashmir. A decade into Modi's rule, that ideology has reshaped India, erasing the line between religion and state that wants to find its secular identity. In 2019, a year after Israel's nation-state law declared it the homeland of the Jewish people, Modi's government passed the Citizenship Amendment Act, which fast-tracks citizenship for non-Muslims only. For Modi, Israel wasn't just an ally, but a blueprint.